Hi friends, welcome to TSAT Vidya channel. My name is Kavya. I am pursuing 10th standard in TTWREIS Girls CVO Devarkonda. Today, I am here to talk to you regarding biology. Before going to the session, let me ask some questions to you. We have across many buildings in our surroundings. How these buildings are made up? Yes, these buildings are made by some raw materials like water, sand, soil, rocks and etc. Let me ask another question to you. Are all the organisms on this earth can be considered as living organism? No, all the organisms on this earth cannot be considered as living organism. To be considered as living organism, that organism should have some specialized characteristics like growth, movement, reproduction, respiration, metabolism, IQ. If an organism can have these specialized characteristics, then the organism is said to be living organisms. So how these all living organisms are made up? Trees in the forest, fish in the rivers, reeds in the ponds, worms in the soil, every plant and animal, every living being on this earth made by a smallest and basic unit, and that unit is cell. Cell. Today my topic is cell. Now in this session I am going to tell you about cell, introduction of cells and types of cells, plant cell and cell organelles, its structure and function. Cell is the basic unit of life. Cell is the smallest unit of life. Cell is a structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Do you know cell replicate by itself independently? Hence, these cells are also known as building blocks of life. Do you know about cell theory? I want to explain about cell theory. Cell theory had proposed by two scientists. One is Matthias Jakob Schleiden and another scientist is Theodor Schwann. These two scientists had proposed cell theory in the year of 1839 based on two principles. One is all living organisms on this earth composed of cell, and another principle is all cells arise from pre-existing cell. Based on these principles, Schleiden and Schwann had proposed cell theory in the year of 1839. Do you know cells are emerged on the earth nearly 3.5 billion years ago? And did you know cells were discovered by a great scientist? He is none other than Robert Hooke in the year of 1665. And cells are responsible for an organism. As we know that a single cell make tissues in the sense group of cells, and tissues to organ to organ system, and organ to one organism. Based on the cells, there are two types of cells. One is prokaryotic cell and another one is eukaryotic cell. Let me explain about each cell. Prokaryotic cells are very smaller, and prokaryotic cells do not contain nuclear membrane. Prokaryotic cells includes amoeba, bacteria and archaea. Whereas now I want to explain about eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are multi-celled organisms. Eukaryotic contains a nuclear membrane. Eukaryotes include plants, animals, slime molds, fungi, algae and human beings. These are 15 times wider than a prokaryotic cell, and the major difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell is nuclear membrane. Hope you are understood about cell and types of cell. Do you know cells, based on the cells, organisms are divided into two types. One is cellular organism and another one is multicellular organism. Let me explain about these two types of organisms. The word unicellular means single cell. If an organism made by single cell, then the organism is said to be unicellular organism or single celled organisms. Examples of unicellular organisms are yeast, bacteria, paramecium, amoeba and etc. And multicellular organisms. As we know that the term multi means two or more than two. If an organism made by two cells or more than two cells, then the organism is said to be multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms includes plants, animals, fungi, algae and human beings. Hope you are understood about types of organisms. Now, as we know that we are we get food from the plant, and we are eating that food, and the food is digesting in our body. Is it enough? No. We have to know how plants are made up, and we have to know how plant cells have their structure and function. Plant cells is a eukaryotic cell. Plant cells are found in leaves and carry out many functions like photosynthesis, respiration, metabolism, along with other processes. Plant cells also stores substances like starches, proteins and lipids. Examples of plant cells are collenchyma, sclerenchyma, parenchyma, xylem and phloem cells. And plant cells play an important role in plant wound repair. We know that we have different organs within our body like ears, nose, eyes, fingers, hands, legs and etc. These organs are helping us while we are working. And cells also have different components known as organelles. These organelles includes cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosomes, mitochondria, vacuole and chloroplast. We know that a teacher teaches the lesson to students. A farmer cultivates the land to provide food to the people. A civil engineer makes the plan to how to construct the buildings. Here what the people are doing? The people are doing the work by their professions. Here the cell organelles also have different functions in the sense work. Now I would like to explain about each structure and function of each organelle. Before going to explain an organelle, let me ask a question to you. How do you protect your house from dangerous animals like snakes, scorpions and even thieves? Yes, we protect our house by compound wall from dangerous animals like snakes, scorpions and thieves. Here there is a special layer which protects the cell is the cell wall. It is the cell wall. The outermost layer of the cell is the cell wall. Cell wall is a unique feature only seen in plant cell. In animal cell there is no cell wall, and the major difference between the plant cell and animal cell is cell wall. And the primary function of cell wall is it gives a defined shape. It defines the shape of cell, and it also protects the cell from external environment. And cell wall is a tough and flexible porous layer. The protection and structural support is the primary function of the cell wall. Now let me explain another organelle. This is the cell membrane. Cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Cell membrane is composed of thin layers of proteins, fats and lipids. Here the inner layer of the plant cell is the cell membrane. Cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. It is composed of thin layers of proteins, fats and lipids. Did you know this plasma membrane is also known as selectively permeable membrane, because cell membrane plays an important role in regulating the entry and exit of a specific substance within the cell. For instance, cell membrane keeps toxins from entering inside the cell, while some nutrients and essential minerals are transported to the cell. Hence, here the selection of exit and entry of a substance is very selectively. Hence, the cell membrane is also known as selectively permeable membrane. I hope you are understood about cell wall and cell membrane. I would like to explain about another organelle. Before going to the explaining other organelle, let me ask a question to you. As we all know that lion is known as king of forest, right? One day, all the animals are quarreling each other or fighting each other. They are shouting too much. Then who control whole forest? Yes, lion control the whole forest. Let me give another example which is very familiar to us. In a classroom, all the students are talking too loudly about their experience in pandemic, including with the class leader. Then who control the whole class? Yes, a teacher control whole class. Here the lion controls the whole forest, a teacher controls the whole class, and there is a special organelle which controls the whole cell is nucleus. Nucleus is a double membrane bounded organelle, and nucleus is also known as control room of the cell because this nucleus controls and regulates whole the function of cell, and it also determines the characteristics of an organism. Did you know this nucleus is discovered by Robert Brown in the year of 1839? And we can see here the nucleus is enclosed by a membrane called nuclear membrane, and we see here the thread-like structure is called genetic material, and there is a spherical sac-like structure is nucleolus, which helps in the making of ribosomes. And the primary function of nucleus is it stores DNA. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, or hereditary information, in the sense genetic material, which required for cell division, metabolism and growth. Do you know nucleus is the largest and dynamic organelle in the cell? It is also known as control room of the cell. I hope you are understood about the nucleus. Let me explain about another organelle. Here the organelle, which is jelly-like material inside the cell, is cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a substance between the plasma membrane and nuclear membrane. Cytoplasm is a jelly-like material inside the cell, and cytoplasm is a fluid content body covered by the membrane. And the primary function of this cytoplasm is it holds all the components or organelles of the cell, and it also holds the proteins, lipids and fats. It also stores some molecules which are used for cellular processes. And let me explain another organelle. We know that we need some nutrients for our health, like vitamins, minerals, fats, carbohydrates along with proteins. So cells also need proteins to function in different ways. Here the organelle, which is also known as protein factories of the cell, is ribosomes. Ribosomes are green granular structure. You can see these are the ribosomes. Ribosomes are granular structure. As I said at the beginning, nucleus makes ribosomes. Ribosomes are non-membrane bounded organelle because ribosomes do not cover with the membrane. Hence, it is a non-membrane bounded organelle. Do you know ribosomes is also known as universal organelle of the cell. Why? Because ribosomes are present both in eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. Hence, these ribosomes are also known as universal cell organelle. Ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis. Hence, these ribosomes are also known as protein factories of the cell. I hope you are understood about cytoplasm and ribosomes. Next, before going to explain another organelle, let me ask a question to you. Now, I want to move from here to Delhi. What can I do? Yes, I go to Delhi with the help of vehicles like aeroplane or train or bus. To this vehicle, I go to Delhi. Here, the movement of a person or the movement of an object from one place to another place is called transportation. Cells perform many functions like respiration, metabolism, reproduction and etc. And there is an organelle which is responsible for the transportation is endoplasmic reticulum. Now, I want to explain about endoplasmic reticulum. The word reticulum means, the Latin word of reticulum is net-like structure. Here you can see these are the net-like structure. Hence, the word it is named as endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is a sac-like structure. Endoplasmic reticulum, the network of membrane is called endoplasmic reticulum. And endoplasmic reticulum is the largest organelle in the cell. It is the framework of biochemical activities, and it also acts as a channel for transporting materials from one part to all other parts of the cell. Do you know, based on the ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum are divided into two types. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum and another one is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now I would like to explain about what is rough endoplasmic reticulum and what is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. For example, if we keep some rocks or some small stones on the floor, when we walk on the floor, we feel, oh, it is too rough. When we remove the rocks and stones from the floor, we feel, wow, it is very smooth to walk. Here, if the ribosomes are present on the surface, as I said, ribosomes are granule-like structure. If the ribosomes are present on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, then it is said to be rough endoplasmic reticulum. And if there are no ribosomes on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, then it is said to be smooth endoplasmic reticulum. You can see here, these are the rough endoplasmic reticulum and these are the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in the manufacture of proteins, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the manufacture of fat molecules and lipids. I hope you are understood about endoplasmic reticulum. Now I would like to explain another organelle. Before going to explain another organelle, let me ask a question to you. Let me give an example to you. Few days back, my mother went to market and she brought freshest vegetables and she cooked them and we all ate them. If my mother can keep the food for 2 or 3 days in the kitchen, what would happen? Yes, the food become spoiled. Can we eat spoiled food? No, we cannot eat spoiled food. We just take it and throw it outside. Here what we are doing? We are taking the materials which we need, which we like, and we are throwing the materials which we do not need and which we do not like. Hence, there is an organelle which acts like this, is Golgi body. Golgi body is a sac-like structure and it is a membrane-bounded organelle around many fluid-filled vessels. These are the vessels. So what is the function of these vessels? Now I would like to explain about the function of vesicles. Here, as I said at the beginning, ribosomes produce many substances along with proteins. The proteins and other substances produced by the ribosomes are reached this Golgi body through these vesicles. What the function of vesicles is? Through these vesicles, the proteins and other substances reaches the Golgi body. Did you know Golgi body is observed by a great scientist? He is Camillo Golgi in the year of 1898, and it is also the main function of the Golgi body is it packs various substances before they are transported to all other organelles of the cell. From here, the materials which are good, the substances or materials are either sent to the cell organelles or to the cell membrane. If the materials are good, these Golgi body send those materials to all other organelles of the cell. If the materials are bad or harmful to the cell, these Golgi body sent those materials to cell membrane for the secretion. Sometimes even these materials also used for regenerate or repair the cell membrane. And Golgi body is also known as food factories of the cell because it packs various substances before they are transported to other organelles of the cell. Hope you are understood about Golgi body. Next, I would like to explain another organelle. Here, the Golgi body is also responsible for the formation of lysosomes. What is lysosomes? Lysosomes is one type of organelle, but it generally do not come into contact with the cell. Lysosome is a sac-like structure and it is a spherical shaped organelle. Lysosomes made by digestive enzymes. The material that to be destroyed are sent to these lysosomes and this lysosome bursts itself and digests the cell to release some enzymes. Hence, here the lysosomes are bursting itself. Hence, these lysosomes are also known as suicidal bags of the cell. Now, I would like to explain another organelle. As we know that, so to do work, what we need? Yes, we need energy to do work. From where we get energy? Yes, we get energy from food. The process of releasing energy from the food is known as respiration. Here the cell also need energy to perform various functions, right? The organelle which is responsible for cellular respiration is mitochondria. Mitochondria is a spherical and cylindrical like shaped, and it is a very small and smaller organelle in the cell. Generally, these mitochondria are 2 to 8 microns long and 0.5 microns wide. Did you know in each cell there are about 100 to 150 mitochondria are present? And as I said at the beginning, nucleus is the largest and dynamic cell, right? Here it is the smallest organelle. Mitochondria are 150 times smaller than the nucleus. Just imagine how much it is small. And mitochondria is responsible for cellular respiration in the sense where cell release or derives its energy by breaking some chemical bonds of glucose molecule is known as cellular respiration. The organelle, the mitochondria are responsible for cellular respiration. Hence, these mitochondria is also known as powerhouse of the cell. Now, here when we feel I lost my energy, I do not work now, that time we just take the food and get the energy and do our work. Here the plant cells, every cell need energy, right, to perform various functions. Here these mitochondria stores the energy in the form of ATP molecules. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Here when the cell needed its energy, these mitochondria release the energy in the form of ATP molecules, and the cell receives the energy and function in various ways. Hence, these mitochondria is also known as powerhouse of the cell. Now, I hope you are understood about mitochondria. Next, I would like to explain another important organelle. Before going to explain the organelle, let me ask a question to you. Where we get the food? From where we get the food? Yes, we get the food from both plants and animals. Where do animal get their food? Yes, the animal gets their food. Some animals take their food from plants. From where the plants get the food? Plants do not get their food from any other organisms, because plants prepare their own food through the process called photosynthesis. The organelle which is responsible for photosynthesis is chloroplast. Now, I would like to explain about chloroplast. Chloroplasts are green granule-like structure. Chloroplasts are double membrane organelle because it have two membranes. One is outer membrane and another one is inner membrane. Hence, it is also known as double membrane bonded organelle. And these chloroplasts contain a green pigment where generally the photosynthesis takes place is chlorophyll. The chlorophyll pigment is present in the chloroplast, and here the chloroplast is the site of trapping solar energy, and it converts those energy into chemical energy during the process of photosynthesis. Here the chloroplasts are the responsible for green color of leaves in a plant. Generally the leaves of a plant are in green color. Hence, only the chloroplast, because of chloroplast, the leaves of the plants are in green color. I hope you are understood about the chloroplast. Next, I would like to explain another organelle which is also known as storehouse of the cell. It is vacuole. The term vacuole means large empty space. The term vacuole means large empty space. These vacuole, generally in plant cell, the vacuoles are larger in size, whereas in animal cell, the vacuole are small in size. And it is also known as storehouse of the cell because vacuole stores some food and waste and another materials. Hence, these are also known as storehouse of the cell. Let me summarize what we have learnt so far. Cell is the basic and structural unit of all known organisms. Cells are two types. One is prokaryotic cell and another one is eukaryotic cell. The organisms are mainly two types. One is unicellular organism and another one is multicellular organisms. We have different organs within our body. The cells also have different components known as organelles like Golgi body, vacuole, endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplast, nucleus, cell wall, plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and etc. If here they also have different structures and they also perform different functions. The cell wall is the outermost layer and it is a unique feature only seen in plant cell, and the major difference between animal cell and plant cell is cell wall. Cell membrane is also known as selectively semi-permeable membrane because it plays an important role in the entry and exit of specific substance within the cell. And the nucleus is the control room of the cell. Nucleus controls and regulates all the functions of a cell, and it also determines the characteristics of an organism. Hence it is also known as control room of the cell. Cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance inside the cell, and it holds the components and proteins in the cell, and it also stores some molecules which require for cellular process. And the ribosomes are granule-like structure, and they are also known as protein factories of the cell and also known as universal cell organelle because it present in both eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell, and these makes the proteins. Hence ribosomes are also known as protein factories of the cell. And mitochondria is also known as powerhouse of the cell because mitochondria are responsible for cellular respiration. And Golgi body is also known as food factories of the cell because it packs various substances before they are transported to all other parts of the cell. And vacuole is also known as storehouse of the cell because it stores some waste food materials and other materials. Hence it is also known as storehouse of the cell. And the organelle, which is responsible for universal food providers in the sense plants, are the chloroplast. Chloroplasts are responsible for the green color of leaves in the plants. And now I would like to conclude my topic. In our daily life, we are seeing many animals, birds and people with a different and beautiful structure, right? So the cells are only responsible for these beautiful and different structure. So protect your structure from the external environment. Let me thank to my mentor teacher Ms. Devishwari Madam and our principal Madam Srimati Uma Sujata Madam and our regional coordinator Lakshmaya Sir, and I am especially thankful to our beloved secretary R.S. Praveen Kumar Sir, and my heartful thanks to our Telangana government and also the TSAT Vidya channel, and I am very thankful to all for your attention. Keep happy learning.
పేరుతో జనవరి 5న కొత్త కార్యక్రమాన్ని ప్రారంభించింది.